This morning, a new test for Tiger Woods' resilience.
It was Tiger Woods that was involved in that accident.
The golf great recovering from serious leg injuries after Tuesday's crash. The latest setback threatening to derail his legendary career. Tiger was the top golfer in the world in 2009 when his personal life unraveled amid multiple
edition of Viral. I'm your host as always, Kendrick Diggs here. As you can see, I'm in my car, but first things first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Viral here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is there. Call a friend, tell a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Here on Viral, we talk about the unfortunate incident that happened with golf great Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was involved in a single car accident crash. His car fell over the cliff, but Tiger Woods was lucky to survive. That's all that matters. Tiger Woods was lucky to survive because it could have been way worse than what it was. Like I said, this is Viral. We talk about Tiger Woods cheating death, reclaiming life. What a way. Like I said, in a golf great Tiger Woods, we know he had his issues with his own race, not identifying as, being black, but Asian. And he had a lot of criticism with that. And then he had issues with infidelity issues with his marriage that led to a divorce. Now Tiger Woods making the comeback story 2 years ago in the Masters, winning it for his 5th Masters Cup. Now Tiger Woods is in the hospital now, waking up, knowing he's lucky to be alive. Well, let's look back at this whole incident. What had happened with Tiger Woods with this?
This morning, a new test for Tiger Woods' resilience.
It was Tiger Woods that was involved in that accident.
The golf great recovering from serious leg injuries after Tuesday's crash. The latest setback threatening to derail his legendary career. Tiger was the top golfer in the world in 2009 when his personal life unraveled amid multiple extramarital affairs.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Tiger sat down with ABC's Robin Roberts back then, discussing the difficulties of finding a balance between fatherhood and being a global star.
Well, I think I'm more present. I'm present with my kids, and that's important because to be with them each and every time I'm with them, to feel that and be connected to them.
Then, with his divorce finalized, the back problems began.
Is he gonna cut?
Oh my God! This is
back.
It went down in pain.
Down.
In 2014, Tiger received the first of 5 back surgeries. He would then announce a break from golf after posting his worst score as a professional, but he wasn't done yet. Tiger returned to golf, and the trouble off the course followed.
I'm placing you under arrest.
In 2017, police charged him with DUI after finding him asleep behind the wheel. Tiger blamed an unexpected reaction to prescription pills for his back pain, saying in a tweet after his arrest that he's getting professional help to manage his medications.
The return to glory.
Then in 2019, Tiger would do it again on the course, winning his 5th Masters.
To see my family there, my mom and my kids, and all the people that helped support me or were there for me during the tough times.
This morning, Tiger is recovering from surgery on his legs after fracturing both the upper and lower portions of the leg. The question now is, can the 45-year-old make another comeback? A doctor who has not treated Tiger says he likely has a long road to recovery.
I don't know how well he'll be able to get back into golfing again. However, he's also Tiger Woods, and he's a world-class athlete. So I think time will tell, and how well he engages in his physical therapy, I'm sure will be fantastic. And we'll see if he gets back on that golf course.
You saw the news reports about golf great Tiger Woods being they had to take the jaws of life to get him out of what he was in because it could have been crucial. Tiger Woods suffered leg injuries, multiple leg fractures, that he has to have surgery on his legs. So it's a good thing Tiger Woods survived and he's lived to tell the story. That's the only thing that matters for Tiger Woods. All right. Let's look at what you people had to say about Tiger Woods surviving and he's reclaiming life again. And it's going to take a roll to recover. Let's take a look what the people say with Tiger Woods.
More now, let's turn to USA Today national sports columnist and ABC News contributor Christine Brennan. Christine, Tiger Woods, obviously a towering figure, not only in the world of golf, but in American culture, really overall. How is the sports world reacting to this accident?
As you'd expect, Lindsay, it is all the headlines. It is everything that anyone is talking about is Tiger Woods right now. And that makes sense because he is much more than just a golfer. He has been a part of our culture, an iconic member of our culture and transcending sports for, close to 30 years now, since most people have started to hear about Tiger. We're on a first-name basis with him, Tiger Woods, Tiger. And obviously, he is a legend on the golf course and has made news. And the highs have been so high and the lows have been very low with Tiger over the years as he has had scandal and injury and so many other things. So I think this is the kind of story that you shudder about, of course, because even though as a journalist I've covered him for 25 years, of course he's a human being, and you hope he's okay. Of course, he's a dad and he's a son, but you also understand the fascination because this is a man who just keeps coming back, and that victory at the Masters in 2019 after a DUI.
Good morning to you, my friend, and you and I, we've both seen a lot of great athletes come back from severe injuries, and we've seen Tiger do it himself. Do you think that this could lead to another great comeback story, or could this be the end of an era?
I would take the latter. I think this could be the end of an era. I think it's a lot to ask. If anybody can overcome it, he definitely can, and we have to understand that because this is a guy that's won 15 majors. When it comes to the Masters, he won it 5 times. 12 times he finished in the top 5. Obviously you take that into consideration along with 82 PGA Tour wins. The man is absolutely sensational and the greatest most, if not all of us have ever seen. But it is a tall task at age 45. You're talking about with the cracked ankles and, the broken leg and what have you, you're talking about at least a 2 to 3 year, removal from the sport. And in light of that reality, along with the young lions that have been around, that have been doing their thing in recent history, it really, really is a tall task to expect him to come back from this on a professional level. But the mere fact that we're asking that question, thank the good Lord, because after losing Kobe Bryant last January, if Tiger Woods had suffered a fatal accident yesterday, then we'd all be in mourning today and he'd be eulogized as we speak. But that's not the case, thank the good Lord. And as a result, just the mere fact that we get to ask ourselves that question is a beautiful blessing.
And what is Tiger's golf legacy? How has he changed the game?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, there's several layers. He's one of the greatest ever, definitely generated a significant revenue for the sport. Once he came on board, it escalated by 2 or 3 times, whatever it was at that particular moment in time, from the time he burst onto the scene when he won the Masters in 1997, finishing 18 under. He was absolutely sensational. He transcended the sport. And then let's bring in the African-American community to a degree, because a lot of folks felt like they weren't welcomed in the sport of golf. But once Tiger Woods arrived, it definitely elevated the interest from that disenfranchised community, not to mention the fact that the world over, you had everybody rooting for Tiger Woods and everybody significantly more interested in golf. So he's definitely a transcendent figure that transcended beyond the sport of play itself.
Definitely made me get more into golf. And do you have any personal recollections about Tiger on or off the golf course?
No, for me personally, it was just I had the pleasure of meeting him once when the Lakers played the Orlando Magic in the NBA Finals when they beat him that year in 2009. That was the first and only time that I had ever met Tiger Woods. Even though I've been covering sports for the better half of a quarter century, I've never had to cover him, and I've never had to cover the sport of golf. So I didn't have a personal relationship with him at all. I just knew that I was honored to meet him. I was in the presence of greatness, one of the greatest players, if not the greatest golfer that ever lived. And that's all I have for you. I don't know him personally at all.
Well, all I got to say is we are all happy, as you said earlier, Stephen, that he is well and on the mend, alive and on the mend. So thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate you as always.
No problem.
All right.
Yeah, I think that Tiger's captured the hearts and minds of so many of us, whether you're a golf fan or not, because of his excellence. I think we all, whatever our craft is, we want to achieve the way that he's been able to achieve on the golf course. And because of that, he's inspired you, whether you love golf or not. I think as somebody who was a professional golfer in a former career a long time ago, certainly nowhere near to the level of Tiger or even to be able to compete with him, you just want to see him be able to walk in. He's given us so much great time on the golf.
Tiger Woods reported to be in surgery in the hospital. Tiger changed the game, maybe the greatest to ever play it. He's seen so much triumph and turmoil, now in the middle of another crisis with the world watching. Good evening. Tiger was driving alone, say police. He's badly hurt, but expected now to survive. Cops say it happened like this. At 7:12 a.m. local time, Tiger was driving fast on a winding downhill road in a residential area of Palos Verdes, south of Los Angeles. Somehow he hit a curb, smashed into a tree, and rolled over several times. When the medics arrived, he was in bad shape, both legs seriously injured. The first deputy on scene says Tiger was conscious and talking, but not able to stand at all on his own power. Cops say his safety belt and airbags likely saved his life. They say they used an axe and other tools to remove him from that car. The LA County Sheriff says there's no evidence of impairment from drugs or alcohol or anything else, but he admits it will take weeks to complete the investigation into the crash. Local coverage now from NBC4 Los Angeles. Their reporter Kim Tobin live in Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Torrance. Kim?
Hey there, Shep. Good afternoon to you. And we are awaiting still the medical update on Tiger Woods, waiting to get a condition. But we know that he was brought here in serious condition, and he likely is still getting surgery there, possibly on both legs after those injuries he sustained in this rollover crash. And the good news here, according to authorities, he was actually brought here. That decision was made for him to be brought here to Harbor UCLA Medical Center because he didn't have to be brought to the closest hospital because his injuries were not life-threatening. So they wanted him here at this trauma center where they could get him into surgery. But we do want to talk about this stretch of road. The Sheriff's Department has talked about how this is a windy downhill stretch of road on Hawthorne Avenue. And this is where they've seen several other crashes in the past before. Now, according to police, Tiger Woods was driving here. They are still looking to possibly see if speed was a factor, but there were no brake marks in the road, no skid marks that they found. Looks like he hit an embankment, hit a tree, rolled several times there until he came to rest on the driver's side. And like you mentioned, first responders had to use several tools to get him out. And it was actually a neighbor who called 911 who heard that crash and alerted authorities. And once deputies arrived there, they got him out of that car. They were able to talk to him. He was alert. And it actually took a moment for the first deputy to ask his name and realize that this is one of the biggest athletes in the entire world he was talking to. Take a listen.
I asked him if he knew where he was. What time of day, just to make sure he was oriented. He seemed as though he was lucid and calm. He didn't seem concerned of his injuries at the time, which is not uncommon in traffic collisions. Many times people tend to be in shock. It's a traumatic experience. So it's not uncommon for people to be focused on unimportant things, or even if they are in pain, they might not feel it until much later.
We want to mention as well that Tiger has been on a long medical journey. He's had 5 back surgeries, his most recent just a couple of months ago. So he was still recovering from that. And then obviously to get in this car accident could have made things much more difficult to deal with once he arrived here at the hospital. So we are still waiting for an update, possibly from his surgeons, from the medical staff here at Harbor UCLA. But a lot of celebrities, a lot of people in the sports world, all over the fans, hoping he pulls through and that he recovers. Shep.
This past weekend, Tiger was on CBS. He was talking about his hopes to play the Masters in April. Let's roll a little bit of that interview.
So Tiger, 7 weeks from today, final round of the Masters. You going to be there?
Gotta hope so. I got to get there first.
You feel like
a lot of it is based on my surgeons and my doctors, my therapists, and making sure that I do it correctly, and because this is the only back I got, so I don't have much more wiggle room left there.
So as you noted, Bob, he was recovering from his 5th back surgery, which is obviously potentially very, very painful. He'd already been through it before and had some issues with opioids in 2017 from recovering from all the pain he was in. So already you have somebody whose body is imperiling his athletic career, and now you have this, and hopefully, hopefully he's going to be okay beyond that. But you do have to wonder if this could be the end of his athletic career potentially.
Yeah, I think that that's a very legitimate question to ask. And thank heavens, the first impression, seeing how grisly the pictures looked, how badly the SUV or whatever the vehicle was damaged. At first, you're wondering about whether the injuries might be life-threatening. Evidently, they are not. So that concern apparently has been put aside, but there's a very real concern about whether Tiger Woods will ever be able to resume his golf career. And I think in a larger sense, Jake, the reason why this has been CNN's ongoing coverage over the last hour or more and will be going forward, why it's everywhere you look across the television dial and on the internet, it goes beyond excellence. Is Tiger Woods one of the greatest golfers of all time? Yes. There will always be a strong case to be made for Jack Nicklaus, who holds the record with the 18 majors and finished second, by the way, 19 times in majors. So that's another plus for Jack Nicklaus. But Tiger Woods has 15 majors. That's the second most. And you could make a very good case that at his very peak, Tiger Woods was the greatest golfer ever, that no one was ever as good as Tiger was at his best. But that
are happy. A lot of people are being real that Tiger Woods could have been dead, but lucky for him, God was not ready for him. And look for Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods has a family that he wants to stay for and live for. And this gives Tiger Woods now the more motivation than ever before to do what he has to do to reclaim his life, get back to the road of recovery stuff. Like I said, Tiger Woods is a perfect example. We all are flawed. We all are not picture perfect. We all make mistakes. And that's what it is. At the end of the day, we can all make up to get back to our road of redemption. I hope Tiger Woods have a speedy recovery and come back to this. And many people are uncertain if his time in golf is over. Only time will tell. We have to wait and see to find out. But thank you all for watching this edition of Viral as we talked about Tiger Woods cheating death, reclaiming life. I've been your host, Kendrick Dix, saying so long. We'll see you next time for another edition of Viral.